Hey, it's me, Bullet. Before I get started, happy birthday to my boy Aaron. This is like a birthday special video almost. By the time this video comes out, it should be the 30th of March, in Japan at the very least. And the final chapter hype begins now, I suppose. The final chapter officially drops on the 9th of April, by the way. Anyway, today I'm going to be talking about the Akatsuki no Requiem Theory, something that's been circulating the community for a while now. It's based off a song by Linked Horizon. You might have heard of it. It's literally the ending for Season 3 Part 1. You know, the one with Historia in it. Anyway, Linked Horizon a while ago released a music video with the visuals for the Akatsuki no Requiem. The entire music video in general has some very interesting lyrics and visuals. A lot of people even theorizing that it could be related to the ending of Attack on Titan. Now, the things brought up in the theory are arguably really similar to what I brought up in my ending. However, when it comes to this ending, I don't really know for sure if this ending is completely plausible, and I'll explain why at the end of this video. For short, I'm gonna call the Akatsuki no Requiem theory the ANR theory. And something you have to understand with this music video in particular is the fact it can be interpreted completely differently to how I might interpret it. Like, the ANR theory in general isn't just one theory. It can be interpreted so many different ways, so bear that in mind. So before we get into this, please like the video, please sub, and don't forget to turn the bell icon on, so at least then you know exactly when I've uploaded a video. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into this video. Though the world may be cruel, it can also be beautiful. Yeah, sure. Between those that throw stones and those who are hit by them, there's a fence that's not so easily crossed. Now let's stop here. Obviously this is in reference to Historia, and when those bullies throw stones at her, and that she can't go past the fence, so she's trapped, caged, almost. But I'm sure you can extend this to anybody else in the show, right? There are a lot of people who are caged, powerless, metaphorically have stones thrown at them, sometimes literally, by the Beast Titan. I would say Attack on Titan is about this idea that people are kind of trapped behind fences, walls, etc. And that most people are fine with that. However, you have the odd exception who wants to break free of that, escape, seek freedom. If we take a look at the visuals, we see this really small character, like a ball of feathers, with an arrow going through his head, next to like this sapling. You could argue this might be Eren, in chapter 1, when he's sleeping next to the tree. We then see this man walk up a hill. It looks very similar to another scene in which Eren walks up a hill in the anime. It should be noticed he's wearing black since he's mourning. If you look carefully, it looks like this character has lost his leg and has some sort of peg leg almost. Now, this could be in reference to when Eren kind of loses his leg at the beginning of the final season. And it's not even the first time we see him lose his leg. However, he is capable of regenerating his leg, though this could just be symbolism. Or perhaps this is related to an injury that happens in the future. The man walks away and the child follows him. He then walks up to these gates where he's confronted by gods. He takes his hat off to reveal that he is in fact a lizard mask. Now, if you're looking at connotations, the lizard is a symbol of regeneration, rebirth, and also has the ability to make dreams come true. More interestingly, he takes his mask off, and yes, it's revealed that this man is actually an eagle. Looking at the connotations of an eagle is often a symbol of freedom. They signify inspiration, bondage, victory, longevity, pride, fatherhood, and royalty. I would say these are traits that Eren does have. In fact, he actually has the ability to use birds as these vessels that he can see through. However, if you were to claim he's more of a seagull, which I don't think it is, but if you were, you might be able to say this man is in fact Armin, since he's been related to the seagull. And also, a lot of people might think it's him, since apparently the narrator and Armin share the same voice actor. So it might actually be the case that Armin is in fact related to the ending of Attack on Titan. However, I don't think it's Armin, and I think I will be able to prove this in a minute. So the reason that this man takes off his mask is to reveal that he's an eagle when he's at these gates. And it seems like these other eagles let him in since they realize that he's the same as them. Now, could this represent the idea that post-rumbling, Eren is let back into Paradise Island? Possibly. But Charles continues to follow this man. He follows this man back to his home and realizes that this man has a son or daughter, as well as a wife, presumably. So yes, Eren could possibly have a family. If you've seen my ending prediction, then I think Eren has a son or daughter, you know, mainly based off the final chapter and the themes of Attack on Titan. So for example, for the surpassing the father thematic, to conclude, he himself needs to become a father. After greeting his family, the man seemingly walks into his office. The child follows him into his office, where the man collapses and begins to break down crying. It seems like a child is trying to comfort him, so touches his shoulder, where he actually ends up seeing this man's memories. And now this is why I think the man is Eren, since his interaction kind of hints that this child is related to him. I'm gonna assume that the child is Kid Eren. And we all know that one of his abilities, as the Attack Titan, and even Founding Titan, is to be able to see past future memories that belong to the Attack Titan. So it can't really be Armin in this case. The child then sees a man slaughter many people. Take this person here holding somebody who has been shot by an arrow. I believe this might be in reference to Eren killing Ramsay and his brother. The child is shocked and then sees his barren wasteland of a world that the man has left. We sealed something away in the name of freedom. What will those robbed steal in return? So we're left with this idea of revenge. The world is so simple to understand, but that's exactly why it's so complex. The same tragedies will keep on repeating time and time again. So perhaps this cycle of revenge is being addressed. So now that he's seen this obliterated wasteland, family is torn apart. The child seems angry, full of rage, and grows these arrows. But he seems to calm down as he sees that the land is thriving. And so maybe he questions that everything done by this man was for the sake of peace. And then we're shown the scenery, and all of this interweaving fate is finally severed. Then my dear friend, let us meet again at dawn in a world without walls. Even if we talk about the manga, Eren talks about a certain scenery that he has seen, that us the readers haven't seen, nor has anyone other than him. Perhaps his scenery, using these lyrics, is a world without walls. Since we do know the walls in Paradise Island have actually collapsed, there aren't any more walls, due to the rumbling. The walls once confined his people. In the first chapter, we're told about how his people were caged, like animals, but now, without walls, they are truly free. So perhaps this is a scenery that Eren is talking about. According to Isayama, he created the walls originally to reflect our own societies, since many people can relate to the idea of walls and boundaries. Obviously also being a really political element and a societal element, something that divides people, organizes them, since they're heavily related to social structures. Perhaps his walls crumbling away is like a political statement, or a statement in general. And as the video concludes, it cuts back to the scene where we are shown a tree, similar to the one shown in the first chapter. I assume this is the same tree as the one shown at the beginning of the video, that sapling, so I assume it's grown. This image is from the future, rather than the past, and rather than one grave, now there are many graves. So I think at the beginning, that grave Eren was visiting may have been his mother's, Carla, who died at the beginning of the show, and now by the end of the show, many people have died. And now the disparity between kid Eren and adult Eren is made clear. He's not burdened by a single death anymore, but by many deaths. It shaped his character, and that's why we see this man now with a walking stick, as if he's aged. We are also shown a field of lilies, the flower of purity. Now these white flowers in particular are relevant, since we've seen them quite a few times. They're shown in the original ending of Part 1 Season 3. We see Historia run across a field with these flowers, and her blood touching one of these flowers. And this is also in reference to Ymir Fritz, the founder, when she frees the pigs, and then is hunted through a forest. When shot by an arrow and begins to bleed, she ultimately falls in water just like Historia. So of course there's a parallel between Historia and Ymir. And it should be noted that lilies are associated with rebirth, motherhood, and in China are used in weddings, because they are tied to 100 years of love apparently, and commonly grow in spring. Spring being when the final chapter drops. Note originally the final chapter was meant to drop in spring alone, however COVID kind of delayed it, so yes, you should have got the final chapter last month at the beginning of spring, however it got delayed, so we're getting it in April, which is still spring. So now just to conclude and wrap things up, I did mention at the beginning of this video that I don't know how plausible this ending is, the A&R theory, because this music video was made at least a year ago. The actual song and lyrics is more than 3 years old. And I don't know if Isayama really had any interaction or relationship with Linked Horizon, so much so that he would actually tell them the ending like 3 years ago. Nor do I think he would tell the artists or animators of his music video. So it seems to me at the very least that these are just visuals linked to Attack on Titan, since Linked Horizon has done music for Attack on Titan for a while now. So you might see similar visuals and stuff, but I'm not completely convinced this is the actual ending. I do think some of the stuff brought up in this relates into my ending prediction, but I don't think the A&R theory is valid enough for me to consider it the actual ending. But don't get me wrong, I do think it's very interesting, and there's a lot of other theories out there that I view as interesting, but don't really consider it completely plausible at the very least. Now all of this should wrap up the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I wanted there to be at least one more video I did right before the final chapter, and it was this one. Since it was just too interesting for me to leave it alone and not talk about it, I didn't really have a chance to talk about the AU theory or some of these other theories, like the time loop theory in a lot of detail. So that's unfortunate, since I did want to talk about their likelihood. For example, the AU theory, I don't think that's that likely, but it's still a possibility. Same goes for the time loop theory, I suppose. Of course, once again, happy birthday Eren. The next video you'll probably see will be related to the spoilers of the final chapter, hopefully. So yeah, the hype is on now. Hopefully that gets you excited. That should be in about a week's time. You know what? If you're lucky, you might get another video before then. But I'm not promising anything. If there is a certain video you want to see, just comment down below what kind of videos you want to see before then. I'll take a look and I might be able to actually get another video done. Don't worry, I won't hit you with any April Fools. Or maybe I will. Ooh. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and sub, that really helps me out. Anyway, sayonara, keep safe, peace out.